Sports are a big part of the world and have been for centuries. It showed us the art of competitiveness, sportsmanship, and most importantly, camaraderie. They've also played a huge role in the world of cinema. Over the years, we've been privileged enough to experience the art that is sports movies. And while we've enjoyed these films, it's made us wonder if there is a particular sport that we prefer more in the world of cinema. Tonight, we run the bases, do a juke, and attempt to make a slam dunk as we discuss what sport truly has the greatest movies. This is a Comic Talkers production, and you are listening to Just Four Flicks. What's going on? It's your boy, Patty B, in the house. And with me today is the main man, my co host, Mr. B Dog, Mr. Brandon. What's going on, man? How we doing tonight?
Well, let's get ready to rumble.
Ding, 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 ding.
Ba-da-da, da-da-da, da, da.
Dun, 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 dun. Oh, come on. That's JV. Oh, what the fuck are we doing here?
Now, that's not giving a hint to what I'm choosing for this, but but I'm excited for this conversation because there are so many great sports movies in the world. We have talked about many of them throughout this month, but it really comes down to what truly has the best sports movies. What sport has the best movies? And that's what the whole thing of this conversation is. You know what? Our opinions are our opinions. We're going to be talking about them. And again, fans, we want to hear your opinion. So let us know in the comments. What
Hey,
movies do you enjoy and what sports do you enjoy as well?
opinions are like assholes. Everyone's got one, but no one wants to admit it.
Well, it's like we said, and that's why we asked fans to do this because fans, you guys, what was it? You guys have your own opinions as well, and that's why we want to hear what sport truly has some of the best movies. So let us know that in the comments. And so, like we said, it's going to be a fun conversation. So, Pat, I'm gonna have you start this off. In
Yeah.
your eyes, what movie or what sport truly has some of the best movies in your eyes?
For me personally, I think it's a close call, and I think there's reasons why. And I think this really comes down to the more iconic movies as far as the sport goes. But I would have to say baseball.
Yeah. Well, I could see it because you got the Raleigh finger stash going with the Pirates old cap going on.
I was kind of going for more Doc Holliday, but this isn't a Western themed podcast tonight.
No,
But I'll be your Huckleberry.
yeah, you're not no Kurt Russell, buddy. Sorry, bud.
No, but I baseball. I think it just sticks out the most for me. There's iconic fictional characters within the baseball community as far as movies go. Um,
I
but
think
it's also
that's
got some really good. It's also got some really good biographical
well,
movies.
that's what I was just
You
about to
know.
say. When you really look at the sport or baseball world, you have something with biographical. A good one is Pride of the Yankees. It is a
Mhm.
great biographical film. Eight
Yep.
and Out is another great one.
The
Uh,
Babe.
yeah, we'll agree to disagree on that one.
Oh,
I'm
whatever.
not
I
a
like
Babe
the
fan.
Babe.
I am not a Babe fan. That movie, John Goodman, I'm sorry, you are terrible in that role.
Oh, he's not. You calm
I'm
down.
sorry, Babe Ruth acted better in Pride of the Yankees than John Goodman playing Babe Ruth and Babe.
I'm more impressed if that's really how they portrayed Babe Ruth's life, dude. That guy ate like shit and was one of the best athletes in the world.
Well, you got to remember too. So, what was it? Did you realize Babe Ruth was actually an actor?
I did not know that.
He's in Pride of the Yankees. He is in the story about Lou Gehrig.
Okay.
Yeah, he
Like
is.
in the actual movie?
Yeah, he plays himself.
What?
Yeah. So think Trainwreck with LeBron James, but actually somewhat better acting.
I feel like it's more of a cameo, isn't it?
No, he's actually in the movie.
No, I meant like LeBron James and
Oh
Trainwreck.
yeah, well he plays like the best friend of Bill Hader in that,
Got it.
but he is LeBron James. It's not him playing
Yeah, he's not like Michael Jackson or Michael Jackson. That's a terrible.
Jackson. Sorry, Miss Jackson.
I am for real. Never meant to make this podcast go off the rails. What? Um,
But you bring up a good point. It has when we look at fictional movies, we have the most iconic one of them all, The Sandlot.
yeah.
The Sandlot is our child. This is
Uh,
the movie that made us want to go out there, grab a bat and grab a ball, and just go out there and hit. It
have some fun.
have some fun. You have Benny the Jet, right? You
Uh,
the iconic Smalls. Uh,
yep.
you have You Hit Like a Girl. You have Squints. You have all the
I'm the big Bambino.
on the
Yeah.
Big Bambino. But there's so much iconic scenes in that movie that is still relevant today.
Yep.
It is and it made a franchise, even though mm, second is decent, the third is why did this need to be made? But at least the third brought back two of the original cast members.
Hmm.
So they brought back Squints and they brought back Benny
They brought him back in the sequels.
in the third one. The second one had nobody from the movies, from the original.
Yeah. See, movies like that too, that where it has such a strong first movie, I feel like they kind of have to have a cash grab at the
Well,
next. You know what I mean? It never, it almost always never matches the potential of the first one, right?
Well, you got to remember too. There's another one that I enjoy, and this is a guilty pleasure of mine. Is Angels in the Outfield. But you realize they made a second one to that, and it was a direct to movie,
Hmm.
and that was Angels in the Infield. It had the dude that played Crunk, and it was terrible.
It sounds terrible.
David Allen Greer was kind of like your Christopher Lloyd in this film.
Wait, David Allen Greer is the angel?
That like one the head angel kind of. They did a second one to it as well called Angels in the End Zone, which I know people crap on that movie too. I
Oh
did.
my god.
I did.
Wait, it has to do with football?
Yeah, it's a football one.
What's the professional football team?
It's not a professional football team. It's a high school team.
Oh my gosh.
Well, that's where you get the iconic.
That's a sick logo though, I'm not
It
lying.
is. And there is still good cast members in this movie. Um, what was it? I'm trying to remember. I can't remember off the top of my head, but the coach is a pretty. You've seen Insomnia,
Yeah.
the main cop, the not the Al Pacino, but like the head cop and the one that he goes to.
Yeah, he's in Weeds.
Yeah, he's the coach in the End Zone movie.
Really?
Yeah, Lawrence, one of the Lawrence brothers, is in it. The dude from Mrs. Doubtfire.
Okay.
He's in as the main kid.
Okay.
When we go to baseball, let's talk about some other great movies. You have Field of Dreams. Field of Dreams is another iconic movie.
Yep.
I know some people put that as somewhat biographical because you do have some of the players, but that's not a biographical film.
Hmm.
It's a fictional film.
Yeah.
You have it's based off real players. Like
Yeah.
Ray Liotta is one of my favorites. It's Shoeless Joe Jackson. There are iconic people in this movie. I love James Earl Jones speeches in this movie. I enjoy Kevin Costner in this movie. That's another good one. I'm not sure if you've seen it yet, Pat. Bull Durham.
Yeah, I have never watched the whole thing, but I've seen scenes of it.
That is to me by far the most accurate baseball film ever made.
Mhm.
Still to this day, it is very accurate to what baseball is, and it focuses around the Durham Bulls,
Yeah.
a real minor league team. They are in AAA ball, but that is another good one. I love that, you have just really great stories that really come from this. And it not only teaches, it could be a love story, which we've seen with like Bull Durham, or we've seen with Fever Pitch, or
I got one right here, and I think it's a perfect movie as far as love goes in sports for the love of the game.
yeah, that's another good one.
I mean, to be honest with you, how I think that movie, yeah, it's another Kevin Costner baseball movie, right?
Yeah.
Um, I think that movie is beautifully done in the way it's edited and the way it tells the story throughout the whole thing, right? It kind of cuts in and out of how his relationship goes with this woman, but it's also going back to his last game of his career, and he's
Mhm.
pitching this perfect game. And You know my love for that movie. I enjoy it,
Yeah,
but yeah,
and
I mean it's just another good example of a baseball movie, especially when it comes to that. So
and going back to biographical quick too, there is another one that we haven't really talked about, and it's kind of in our backyard, or used to be in your backyard. Moneyball.
yeah.
Even though there has been stuff that's come out since saying that that was actually not accurate
Mhm.
to what actually happened. Like I know the manager of the A's at that time, that was played by Philip Seymour Hoffman in this movie, came out and said this is not how Billy Bean was, and um, there was just a lot of choices made for that film that didn't really suit it. But the shots in it are really well done. I love the little slow motion scenes where it's all black, especially like with David Justice in the background there.
Uh-huh.
You have what's his face? Chris Pratt's in this movie as
Yeah.
well.
Well, and you were going back to shots too, and I think they really encapsulate the look of the Oakland Coliseum, right? I mean, the thing was filmed at the Oakland Coliseum, so I
And
think
and really fun fact too, going back to Angels in the Outfield, that was also filmed
filmed at
at
the
the
Oakland.
Oakland Coliseum. It wasn't
Yeah.
filmed in LA, fan.
No, it was not. And
It's
it's
really
funny, me as a lifelong A's fan, when I watched that movie as a kid, I'm like, that's the Oakland Coliseum. That's not. They're not in L.A. There's
it's
no
funny to
way.
see how they
And this
play their
was
lives.
And that's another thing is a lot of outside people that aren't familiar with, Bay Area sports or anything like that. But um, the appearance of the Oakland Coliseum in Angels in the Outfield was before they built Mount Davis, which is now a big structure in the center, which I actually prefer the open layout preferred compared to the Mount Davis. And the only reason why that was added is when the Raiders moved back in '95. But not to sidetrack off of that.
But,
Um,
well, there's other great movies that come from it. Like we said, we've talked about Biographical. 42 is another great film.
yep.
42 with Chadwick Boseman as Jackie Robinson. Um, Phenomenal film. This is where I go. I love the shots. The only thing I don't like is how fast the ball's going. Um, there it is going the way they're pitched. It's like it's faster than even over 100 miles an hour. You don't really see that. So it's just really like how it's shot is well done, other than when the ball's being thrown from the pitcher to the hit.
Yeah,
A League of Their Own. We gotta talk about this movie.
that's a classic, man.
There's no crying in baseball.
No, there isn't. Stillwell, get over here, Stillwell.
Or when we're gonna win,
Uh,
Mm. I love that scene. I will still say this to this day. If we ever do a Tom Hanks list, this would be in my top 5 movies of all time for Tom Hanks. This is by far
for
one of
sure,
the iconic
for
roles.
sure. No, that movie's great. I love Gina Davis, man. Who doesn't love Gina
Gina
Davis?
Davis is great in this film.
She's a top actress.
Rosie O'Donnell's good in this. Madonna's good in this.
Madonna, great eye candy.
Yeah, well, yeah. At that time,
At that time, I mean, now she looks like a monster.
yeah, with her as dark hair, she was pretty. Anything with blonde, I don't like her. Other
Who's the other guy too? Man, I know Penny Marshall's in it. I think
the
it's
guy
directed by
played
Penny
an
Marshall.
8 Men Out too.
Huh?
Plays an 8 Men Out.
Yes, yes, he
He
does.
plays the pitcher for
I'm
Eight
gonna
Men.
look him up right now while you're talking, but
But go talk about 8 Men Out too, because that's another biographical film.
uh-huh.
8 Men Out is about the Chicago White Sox in the
Red
19
Sox.
World Series, but now they're considered Black Sox because they are the reason why no gambling is allowed in sports and why it's a big thing is because they fixed the 1919 World Series where they lost because they were going to get paid more. That movie is actually really stacked with actors as well. Because
Yeah,
Mickey Rourke in that, or not Mickey. Oh God,
Mikey Rooker.
thank you, Rooker.
Yes.
And then you have Charlie Sheen in this. You have Cusack in this film. There's a lot of people in this film.
Um, David Strathairn.
There we go.
I don't know if I'm pronouncing that last name right, but yeah, David Strathairn.
And we
He's
get
in a bunch of stuff.
the best scout in A League of Their Own as well.
John Lovitz.
John Lovitz. I love
As
that. Yeah.
John Lovitz as Ernie Capadino.
I love him in that movie. That dude makes me laugh
Um,
every time he's
one
on.
more actress we forgot in A League of Their Own, Lori Petty, bro.
Lori Petty, yes.
Dude, she did not miss in the 90s, didn't she?
No. She's a great actress. That's why I said she was great in this film. I actually liked her more than Gina Davis's role a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's not
Yeah,
that I don't like Dottie. Dottie's amazing in this film.
they're two completely different characters.
But that last scene, I think I'll put it out there. I think this movie has one of the most iconic baseball scenes of all time. And it is when Dottie drops the ball.
Did she do it on purpose?
And it's a big question. I do think she did. The evidence is there.
Yeah.
The movie has set it up the whole time that her sister always was in her shadow. It was
Yep.
never her, it was always Dottie. Dottie was doing this, Dottie was doing that. When was it ever going to be her time?
Hmm.
And then that's when they traded her, and then she becomes the best player on their team. And that's the whole iconic moment that she drops the ball.
Yeah.
And it is a question up for grabs out there. But let's go into some of the comedical ones. Yeah, of course. Well, actually, before we forget, Pride of the Yankees. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. It is a very well done film. Um, the it's a black and white film. It's old. It's very old. If Babe Ruth's acting in it, you know it's old. I'm glad they have never remade the movie.
Yeah.
That is a movie I feel that should not be remade. Um, but the actors in this, and I do enjoy, it's Gary Cooper in this film. I like Gary Cooper as an actor. He plays in one of my favorite westerns of all time, and that is High Noon. Um, Babe Ruth's in it. Um, Teresa Wright. There's this movie is just really iconic because it's about Lou Gehrig. It is not Babe Ruth.
So
It,
I have not seen this. In this movie, so this movie obviously came out. How long before it came out? How long did it come out before Babe Ruth died? That's what I meant to say.
let's see here. It came out in 1942. Babe Ruth passed away.
6 years.
So yeah, six
I know
years.
my Babe Ruth knowledge. Come on now.
I don't know my Babe Ruth knowledge as much as you.
Born in 1895.
And he was in the Sandlot. No, I'm just
Oh yeah, I guess he
he
kind of.
was in the
Well,
Sandlot.
not
He
hit
was.
it. The Molinator
It
plays.
was the Molinator from
Oh my
but,
gosh.
but let's go to some of the iconic other movies from baseball. You have Major League. Major League spurred into a franchise. It is amazing to watch Major League. Of course, I like the first two more than I like the last one they did.
I never saw the third one.
Be glad you haven't.
Okay, I'll be glad.
Um, I'm trying to forget the main guy in the movie. Well, you have the dude from NCIS New Orleans, or I can't remember his
Don't
name.
try to explain any of those NCIS things because I get confused.
But the main player on the team. You've watched The Hateful Eight. You're a big fan of Quentin Tarantino.
100%.
Okay, the first guy, Samuel Jackson, Kurt Russell pick up.
Oh, Walton Goggins. He's
He's
in there.
he's in that one. Him, Serrano.
Super young.
Yeah, this was in the 90s. So yeah, he was young in this movie. He's also Pat said it too. He's also in Fallout. So
Yeah, the new Fallout. Yeah.
that's another
Justified, I think, is what really put him on the map.
well that you have Ant-Man and the Wasp. You have quite a few movies with him now that he's
Yeah,
becoming bigger and bigger.
but yeah, like, yeah.
And but their Little Big League is another one I bring up. It's one that people tend to forget exists. But
Hmm.
Little Big League is another movie that I feel like it's accurately well done for baseball. There is a lot of big name baseball players in this movie, um, like Ken Griffey Jr., Randy Johnson, Rafael Palmeiro, that steroids using son of a gun.
Forgot about him.
Ivan Rodriguez is in this movie. There's a lot of iconic big name people in this movie. In baseball, I love that they make King Griffey Jr. kind of like a villain to him. It's like the funniest thing you ever watch. They actually give him like an evil song every time he comes up to bat. it's like it's funny, but if you guys haven't watched that movie, it is pretty much or so a kid named Billy inherits the Minnesota Twins from his grandfather after his grandfather passes away. And the only reason he gave it to him is because he is the only person that he knows that knows baseball just as much or more than him. So he becomes the owner of the Minnesota Twins, but not only that, he becomes the manager of the team as well, and actually is at every game coaching the team. It's really well done. I really do enjoy that movie. I know a lot of people because people tend to forget this movie because of what came out that year as well, Sandlot,
Hmm.
and I believe Angels in the Outfield did too in '94.
Uh,
I believe that's when that came out as well.
Angels in the Outfield, I think came out maybe 94,
Yeah,
95
90. It says
tops.
94 here. So those two baseball movies, of course, outshined Little
Hmm.
Big League. But I want to talk about two really quickly, because we kind of briefly summed it up. Angels in the Outfield. It's something dear to me in my heart, and it's it's my comfort movie. I like to say I love this movie too. I'd still watch it whenever it's on TV or whenever I see it or I see the DVD on my shelf. I'm like, I'm gonna watch that tonight, and I really do. Yeah, the iconic. But there's an all-star cast in that movie too.
Dude,
People tend to forget about this movie. Danny Glover, Tony Danza, Matthew McConaughey is in this film. Adrian Brody is in this film.
Neil McDonough.
Yeah, Neil McDonough, Joseph Gordon-Levitt is in this movie. I can't ever remember her name, but she's Maggie.
Uh, I'll look it up right now.
Yeah,
I Pigeon Lady from Home Alone.
yeah, or
Um, Taylor Negron.
yeah. That's why I said Christopher Lloyd is in this film.
Doc Brown himself.
There is so many iconic actors in this film, and it's tend to be forgotten about. And then you guys always wonder why this movie's not on Disney Plus because they don't want to pay the royalties that come with
Right.
it. When you hear this big name of a cast, you know how much Disney's gonna have to fork out for it. They're gonna have to.
Brenda Brenda Fricker.
There you go. Brenda Fricker is another great character in this movie. It is something that I still hold dear and near in my heart. I love, you know, I love Roger. I love JP. I, Knox is another. Knox is one of my favorite managers of all time, still to this day. Neil McDonough is my dumbass pitcher that I love. You know,
Uh-huh.
I thought the season started at 1. It does start at 1, and you're a jackass. No, I'm a pitcher. You're a pitcher and a jackass.
God damn, that's good.
See, it's very common. Oh, and he passes out. That's like still one of my favorite iconic scenes with him. Or when they're, or was it when he has the magic 8 ball? Am I gonna win? Am I gonna win? I'm gonna win. Or was it check back later? Oh, and he does it again. Maybe. I just I love that movie. It still brings me to tears at points, and it's
Yeah.
just a really well done movie. Um, and the sad thing is there was a predecessor before that in the 50s,
Hmm.
and and I believe Gary Cooper's in that movie as well, if I'm not mistaken. And it's not really thought after either. But it's the sad thing is it's the team it's in. It's the one that you have on your hat right now, the Pirates. Pirates is the main team of that first movie.
Okay.
And it's like, okay, that makes no sense, but we'll go with it. But it's not a very, yeah, it's not really good. But baseball is just iconic. Now, let me ask you this, Pat. Is there a baseball movie you cannot stand?
Um, there's a lot of them that I love. Uh,
I'll put the one I would love to put out here, and I know you're going to hate me for this. The Fan.
that's right. I remember
I
you're
hate The Fan.
you're disdaining that movie.
I don't like Wesley Snipes, and I'm not a big Robert De Niro fan. So I just can't get behind him. You know, when I look at a list, they put Benchwarmers on there. That's still a funny movie to watch. I'll watch it.
For me, Trouble with the Curve. Not a fan.
Well, you got to remember, Trouble with the Curve was on the heels of Moneyball. So it was like this really like one of the only other movies that actually focused not so much on the players, but
Mhm.
it focused on the management of the team.
Yeah.
And that just was not something out of Clint Eastwood's norm
Yeah.
for him. Because he directed that film too, if I'm not mistaken.
He did.
I know this is one
I I think Justin Timberlake kinda ruins that movie for me,
yeah,
though.
I didn't think that. I actually kind of had a shining light for him on that one. With Amy Adams, I thought they were both really good.
He's a character
I
actor.
just felt like it was the writing more. And I don't I you want me to tell you the one character I hate in that movie? And it's the one I'm gonna hate the most in saying, because I love him in any other movie I've watched him in, and that's Matthew Lillard. I just feel like his role in that was so garbage.
You
It
don't like Matthew Lillard in that?
not in that movie. That just is not him. I I always like him being the cocky guy, like he is in Scream, or like he is in Five Nights at Freddy and a couple other things. But to me, being that cocky, it sounded like he was more desperate, and I didn't like that.
Well,
But
so I think also I compare Matthew Lillard's role in that movie to his role in the show The Good Girl or The Good Girls. I don't know if you've ever seen that show.
I've seen, yeah, I've seen it. I'm not. It just, yeah,
I love Matt. There's a soft spot in my heart for Matthew Lillard. That guy's awesome.
that guy though does not have a good track record when it comes to baseball movies, because he's also in Summer Catch as well with Freddie Prince Jr.
Hmm.
and Jessica Biel, and that movie is not really good either. He's the catcher. Um, there are movies that I just go with baseball. Okay, is it good? Now let me ask you this, Pat, because I'll mention another one I really enjoy a lot of sports movies with. I like fighting movies. I
Hmm.
like boxing, and I love boxing. Um I love MMA films. I don't know why, but I think sometimes it's the way it's shot is one
Yeah,
reason. But they're iconic moments. When you look at sports movies, when it comes to boxing, what's the first one that comes up in your mind?
Rocky.
Exactly. Him going up the steps, raising
Yeah.
his hands up, Adrian, all yeah, Mick, Mick, or
Nick.
I want you, Italian stallion, those iconic
Come
moment.
on, Creed.
That pitiful, and I love it. It's just those iconic moments, the iconic villains.
If he dies, he dies.
James Brown coming out singing in America.
Living in America. Yeah.
There are so many. Five is the only one I go, no, but it does have one of my favorite lines. Touch me
I'll,
off.
s- yeah, yeah. I was
See,
gonna say, man.
I love that
I was
last
gonna say
part
if
when
he
he just
didn't.
throws him to the car. I'm just like, yeah, that's exactly what I would have done.
Well, I was just gonna say if you don't mention that movie, I'm gonna sue you.
Yeah, but Rocky Balboa was a great retirement story. Him coming out of retirement. Creed is another great one. His like he kind of Rocky's protege.
I think they did a really good job with Rocky Balboa, considering how far in between
And
that movie
how
was
he
from the fifth
so
one.
out and how he looked out of shape too. It
Yeah.
looked really well done. Sad
Yeah.
thing is it ruined the boxer's career afterwards that he fights.
Yeah, but come on now.
After that, where do you ever hear him? You never hear about him anymore. Um, Creed's another great film with them. I think those are
Hmm.
great predecessors to him, to the Rocky franchise. But okay, let's talk about other boxing movies. You know my favorite, Cinderella Man.
Cinderella Man, yeah.
That's probably the only Russell Crowe movie I can actually sit there and watch.
Yeah, American Gangster.
And not my. Oh, I could watch Gladiator, but that's about all.
Yeah, what yeah, what
Yeah, like that's. But to me, Cinderella Man is just a great movie. It's based off a
Mhm.
true story. It is. It's just a really well shot film. I love the music from Thomas Newman in that film. Paul
Yeah,
Giamatti in that film is a great character in this film.
yeah, I love Paul. Yeah, Paul Giamatti's fantastic in it. I was gonna bring up another one, and I know it's a big favorite of yours. It's Million Dollar Baby.
Yeah, Clint Eastwood, Hilary Swank, and Morgan Freeman
Yeah.
are phenomenal in this film. Morgan Freeman won I believe they.
That movie swept. I think that movie swept.
Yeah, let's see.
It came pretty close to sweeping.
I think they won all like the actor
All
stuff.
the big one. Well, I think best director too.
Yeah, Clint Eastwood won it. I'm not sure if he won best actor. I think he won best director.
Yeah,
But
yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. He won it best director. I forget. Yeah, he's in that. Yeah, he's the trainer,
yeah,
obviously.
he's the main one. He's the main trainer in that movie.
Morgan Freeman's like the other coach too,
I
right?
kind of think of him like Stitch. He's kind of like Clint Eastwood's kind
Cup
of
man. He's the cup man.
he's kind of the one guy. So they did win best actress, best actor. So he did win. Wow,
Wait, Clint Eastwood got best actor for that?
I didn't think that.
Morgan Freeman get best supporting
Yeah, he did.
and a friend.
I'm curious. Hold on one second here. I want to see the full list of this. I found the site here. I want to see. Gosh darn it. Okay. I'm going to
And
okay.
while you're looking at that, I another big boxing movie for me, it's somewhat newer, is Southpaw.
See, that's a love-hate movie for me.
That's a powerful movie,
It's
man.
probably one of the only movies I've actually enjoyed Jake Gyllenhaal in. I think Jake Gyllenhaal was great in that film.
That and Nightcrawler.
Yeah, I'll give you props
I
there.
think Nightcrawler's his best movie, but that's just my opinion.
Um, that's what I said. Well, I like him in The Covenant. That's probably my favorite
Yeah.
movie, and I've talked about that. So actually, he did not win Best Actor. That went to Ray that year for Jamie Foxx.
Yes. Okay. Wow, that was the same year. Okay.
But Morgan Freeman did win Best Supporting Actor. Hilary Swank did win Best Actress.
Hmm.
That year I forgot. Kate Blanchett won Best Supporting Actress for The Aviator.
Wait, The Aviator, that was the same year too? Leo had to have gotten nominated, I would imagine, right, for his role
For Best Actor,
that year for that movie.
he was nominated. So here's
Yeah.
who was nominated: Jamie Foxx, Don Cheadle,
For Hotel Rwanda? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Johnny Depp for Finding Neverland,
Oh yeah, I forgot about
Leonardo
that.
DiCaprio for The Aviator, and Clint Eastwood for Best or for Million Dollar Baby. Million Dollar Baby also won Best Directing. Um,
Best Picture?
they did win Best Picture over The Aviator, Finding Neverland, Ray, and Sideways. Oh, but when you really look at Million Dollar Baby, the shots in that film is fun. Any
Yeah.
movie with Clint Eastwood in it, you know his shots are going to be really well done.
And I notice he keeps his I've noticed with his camera work or maybe just the editing, it's a certain color tone.
Yeah, when you look at that, I look at Million Dollar Baby the same way I look at Gran Torino.
I was just gonna say that too. That's what I was comparing it to as well. Like it has like this dimmed feel to it a little bit.
And I think that goes to his Western roots a little bit because when you really look at his Western roots, it is kind of like that too at points. Like Unforgiven is kind of like that. You do
Well, I
have
feel like it kind of gives like this melancholy effect,
it,
right? Like it
it,
just
it gives it more of a grim take on things.
for sure.
Like when you look at Gran Torino with him, Gran Torino is a very grim movie. It
Yeah.
is not for the light of heart. I will say that right there. If you guys have never watched Gran Torino or even Million Dollar Baby, don't
Mhm.
go in it just thinking, oh, Clint Eastwood in it, it's going to be great. You have to have the right mindset for these movies because Million Dollar Baby, even though it's a boxing film, it can get very dark.
Yeah. Very dark. Especially that last 15 minutes, man. That
And we
shit's
won't spoil that, but even though we should because it's over,
yeah, it's 20 years old.
like
Get over it. No.
Right. But it's the same way too. Cinderella Man kind of reminds me of the way um, Million Dollar Baby was shot.
Hmm.
Really look how I might actually watch that tonight. You know what? Because I like Million Dollar Baby. That is one of my favorite movies of all time. Still is. Um,
You're
when you
welcome.
when you look at when you really look at that movie and it being about James J. Braddock being kind of like a down on his luck boxer. He was
Yeah.
once the heavyweight champ. Then he gets because the Great Depression hits, he has to sacrifice things, and unfortunately, boxing is one of them to just make a living. And how he gets back in the world and is thought as the underdog
Hmm.
in every fight he competed in. It's a great film. The way it's shot, I do see a lot. That's why I think I like Million Dollar Baby. It's
Yeah.
because they're shot. They're amazing how they're shot. Um, I believe they were even nominated for Oscars. That's why I said when you really look at Oscar worthy films, why is it that it's more fighting films than anything else? Because Moneyball was nominated for stuff, but
I
I don't
think
think they won. I think they
I
only won one.
with fighting or boxing movies, I feel like it kind of gives a more realistic take, right? What they go through prior to engaging. And a lot of these guys have demons of their own, right? So I guess I think it kind of focuses on that. Um, there was a movie about Vinny Panzian, I can't remember. It's a Miles Teller's in it. I'm gonna
Oh, I know which one you're talking about. It's not.
I'm looking it up right now.
But we'll talk about. I'm going to go over the.
Bleed for this. That's the one.
Yes, that's a good movie too. That's why I said there are when you really look at the boxing movies. Okay, Rocky won Best Picture.
Hmm.
Cinderella Man was nominated for awards. He was actually so funny enough. Russell Crowe was not nominated for Best Actor, but his supporting actor was Paul Giamatti,
Hmm.
which I do feel he should have won. That role for him was really well done. Like I always looked at Paul Giamatti as being the comedy relief.
Hmm.
This was really my first time I've seen him more in a drama role, and actually went, that's actually really good of him. Like to me, he's a really well done supporting actor. When I look at Paul Giamatti, I kind of put him in the same tier as Cillian Murphy and Mahershala Ali. If I know he's in a movie, I'm going to watch it.
Yeah, 100%.
It is just really well done.
I mean, that's how I feel about him in Sideways. I love that movie, man. That movie is
Like
he's perfect for that movie.
I love him in The Holdovers. I love him in Saving Mr. Banks. I thought his role in that movie was really well done with Tom
Hmm.
Hanks.
Big Mama's House.
Big Mama's House. Big Fat Liar. There's a little.
Oh my God, Marty Wolf, one of
Yeah.
the best antagonists in the movie.
But I just really enjoy him because you could tell he just really loves acting and he really
Yeah.
wants to do what he does. And this was my first movie I watched him and I went, I think I really actually care about this actor now. Like I thought, and the music behind it is really great. There's other great movies. One I would love to bring out was an indie one, Warrior, and it's not really a boxing film, but it is a MMA film,
Yeah.
and that movie's really well done too. That has Tom Hardy, that Nick Nolte's in this film. It's a really great movie, and I love the way it's shot. Again, I do feel like it takes a lot of grimness like $1 Million Baby and Cinderella Man that we get. And this is the only time I always make fun of the movie. It's because Kurt Angle's in this film and he plays a Russian. Yeah.
That's awful.
But Joel Egerton is in this film.
I love Joel Egerton.
Joel Egerton, him and Tom Hardy are brothers in this film. Tom Hardy is Tommy, who is a deserted Marine, or he's a Marine that has deserted his unit. Um, Joel Egerton is Brendan, who is a high school teacher down on his luck, and they both have backgrounds in MMA.
Hmm.
So they both fight each other at the end of it all, and it's such a powerful movie. It really is. Like if you don't go out of that movie crying at the end of the movie, you don't. It's heartbreaking to watch.
Yeah.
Um, it's I think those movies are so well done because it actually focuses on a motivation of a fighter. It's not baseball where it's like Major League, for example, where you have, oh, we're just doing this till we keep our team. I feel like with the boxing movie, you actually dive deep into a boxer's mindset.
Yeah.
You go into like when you look at Cinderella Man, you look at Braddock's, you look at what he was dealing with. It brings his personal drama and why he's fighting, why he's doing this. Southpaw, same thing. Southpaw after his wife and daughter, his wife's killed.
Yeah.
Why
And yeah, I mean, he's spending the whole movie trying
trying
to
to
get his daughter back, right? I mean, the
yeah,
guy hits rock bottom. He's one of the best boxers in the world. He's world champion.
he's trying to fight not only for that, but he's also fighting to get his career back. You know,
Yep.
you the Rocky's kind of the same way. Another down on his luck. He just is kind of a little punk fighter. Then you see him become one of the best fighters in the world, and his power gets to his head. And then you see
Yeah.
him having to redeem himself that way. Like, I can't think this way because I'm one of the best fighters. I can't let it go to my head.
Hmm.
It's a psychology movie, I feel, that makes boxing and fighting movies really well done. There's more at stake, I feel, when you watch a fighting movie than you watch that. Football, football, I don't really like a lot of movies when it comes to football. I like, I feel like the only serious movie I can really watch is Remember the Titans.
Okay.
I can't even sit there and watch Rudy, and it's sad because I love Sean Astin. But when
Yeah.
you really learn at the story and the real life story of that and what the movie portrayed, it's just
Hmm.
like,
Yeah, I'm not a big Rudy fan necessarily. With me, one of my favorite football movies of all time is, and I think the reason why I like it so much is because it really shows the business behind professional football
mm,
and how some players are treated. It's Any Given Sunday.
that
Uh,
you actually feel like it's like a money ball mixed with players.
yeah, I mean, also it's got its own slew of characters, right? It is fictional technically because
Al
it
Pacino.
you know I like Al Pacino in that movie, man.
That's not my favorite with them.
I
You know,
like I like with with that I like the chemistry between him and Jamie Foxx in that
yes.
movie.
I like Dennis Quaid in that film too.
Dennis Quaid's fantastic. Yeah, that's another all-star cast of a movie,
Yeah.
man.
So JLo, isn't that the one with LL Cool J in that one too?
LL Cool J and Jamie Foxx got in a real altercation during this movie. They did not like each other.
Um,
Um,
Another
Matt,
movie,
Matthew Modine, James Woods, Cameron
I
Diaz.
forget James Wood is in this film.
Yeah, James Woods is in this, man.
There's another movie that I would say is close on par with that, and I'd say The Replacements are on par with that too.
I love The Replacements.
The
Gene Hackman
Replacements
is
actually
fantastic in that movie.
fantastic. Keanu Reeves is in this movie. I
Uh-huh.
like the little chemistry they have to have. John Favreau is in this film. It's one of my favorite.
Right.
I love him in this movie. I I love the lunch scene when they're all making fun of what they're eating. It's like that gets you fat. Like, how do you get this? We have to eat stuff like this.
Yeah.
It's it, that's a good movie to watch. I do enjoy that one. Um, but I feel like when it comes to football, some of the best movies to me when it comes to football come off comedies, and that's why I say Replacements is in that realm. Um,
Uh-huh.
you got The Longest Yard, both the original and the remake, that are really good. Um,
I like
right.
I've seen them both. I prefer the remake just because I'm more familiar with the actors within that movie, you
Yeah,
know?
like there's more comedical. Knowing you, I know why, because there's wrestling guys too in this. Yeah,
Dude,
Stone Cold, Kevin.
Kevin Nash is so
Yeah,
funny
Kevin
in
Nash
that
makes
movie.
me laugh in that movie.
Yeah.
I love how when they put him on the hormone pills. That makes.
Oh man. He's like, "Why are you yelling at me? All I did was care."
But the best thing about it is, I think he is one of him and Big Show would be like the only two actors. If you put him into something like that, they'll do it in a heartbeat. Like,
Well,
like
he's Captain Insano.
yeah, that's the next one I was going to bring up. Another great comedy football movie, The Water Boy.
Yeah.
I enjoy those movies where football's more better with, or let me rephrase. Football's better with comedy, I
Yeah.
feel, because like you even have Little Giants that of course is a cult classic as well, but it's based off comedy. It's based off all that.
Hmm.
Now I know another one you haven't brought up yet, and that's golf. I know you're a golf movie fan.
I love golf. Well, I
I
mean,
know
I
I
meant like golf movies. I don't know if I
I know you
necessarily watch golf all the time.
'cause I know you like Tin Cup. That's one of your favorites.
I like Tin Cup. Yeah,
I
I
like
do.
Caddyshack. I enjoy Caddyshack.
Caddyshack's good, man. That's a classic. Rodney Dangerfield, man. I give no respect.
This
Uh,
is a baby Ruth. There's a baby Ruth.
oh yeah.
In the pool. The shit in the pool. That scene makes me laugh.
Um,
Or the no 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 no.
but I don't think I don't think you can go without saying Happy Gilmore, man. Like
Yeah.
that's
It's another one that I feel like when they do true stories, it's good, but it isn't the best.
yeah,
When you look at it's just like the same way I look at tennis. Like tennis is good with movies, but that's why I said certain sports deserve more comedies than drama, and some movies or sports deserve or dramas more than comedies.
hmm
When when you look at golf, and I think more why I go for more comedy is just because golf to me, and I know I don't at me fans, I'm not a big golf guy.
yeah.
And I feel like to me, watching golf, it has to be entertaining to me.
But I
And so
mean, you like Happy Gilmore though, right? I
Happy
mean,
Gilmore is amazing. It's one of those movies that you could sit there and watch anytime and you love it. I love
yeah.
Coen Brothers. I love Adam Sandler. I love
You will go to sleep, or I will put you to sleep.
The Price Was Wrong, bitch. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Price was wrong.
I love I love Kevin Nealon in this.
Yeah.
He's like, his bags are packed. He's got his plane tickets. Send him home, Happy. Send him home.
I hate pieces of shit like you for breakfast. You ate
You
pieces
mean
of
pieces of shit for breakfast?
no.
Yeah, Grizzly Adams had a beard. Grizzly Adams did have a beard.
Yeah. Or I'll see you in the parking lot.
Yeah.
Or just tap it in. Just tap it in.
Tap it in.
Tap
Tap,
tap. Tap tap tap.
taparoo. Yeah.
I love the cussing scene when he gets to the ball when the ball barely misses the hole. And he said, like,
Yeah.
you, he's getting all pissed off. And like, we're gonna suspend him. No, this is the
Yeah.
ratings we've gotten. So
Wings.
it has the best Ben Stiller villain to me, still to this day.
Oh yeah, man.
That dude makes me
Oh,
laugh every time he comes on.
oh bro. Yeah. One of my favorite. That's probably one of my favorites in that whole movie, man. It's you know, my fingers hurt. Oh, your fingers hurt. Well, that's too bad because you just pulled landscaping duty.
Well, that's what I said. Golf, I feel like when I've watched some of the drama movies like Legend of Bagger Vance and
Yeah.
greatest the greatest game ever played was another one with Shia LaBeouf.
hmm
Those
Yeah,
are
yeah. Okay, that's a Disney movie too, isn't
that
it?
is a Disney movie.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's there. I wouldn't watch it over and over, but it's there. Um, let's go into basketball. Basketball's one we have not talked about. And there's still one that me and I still need to get you to watch because you have never watched it. Granted, it's not the most accurate way in playing basketball,
What
but
was it?
it's Space Jam. Like Space Jam to me is the most iconic basketball movie still to this very day.
Yes, fans, if you are asking, I have not seen Space Jam yet, and
But
I don't plan on doing it. Maybe if we get enough likes and comments, maybe Brandon will do a watch along with me, and I will watch Space Jam for my very first time.
yeah. So actually, you know what? If this video gets over 300 likes,
All right,
Pat has to
deal.
Pat has to watch Space Jam for the first time.
Yep,
And I am making this a post. So thanks, Pat.
you're very welcome. I'm here to help.
But Space Jam is amazing, though. Space Jam is great. You have Michael Jordan, who's 10 times better than LeBron James in acting, even though Michael Jordan can't act. We know that. Bill Murray plays himself in this film. Makes me laugh every time he
He
comes.
plays himself, like he plays Bill Murray.
Yes.
It's
He
not
sits
some
there and
random person.
it's him. One of my favorite scenes is when they're on the golf course. It's him, Jordan, and Larry Bird.
Yeah,
And they're all sitting there and like, I could have had my day in the league. Your prime is past, Murray. Oh, well, Bird tries to tell him like his time's passed on and all that. It's just fun to watch. Wayne Knight's in this film. You have the monsters. You have Charles Barkley in this film. Patrick Ewing. Larry Johnson, Sean Bradley, Muggsy Bogues.
Yeah.
It's iconic. This is a movie that should just sat by itself. It should
Uh-huh.
never had the second one made. I'm sorry, and I will put this out there. I know this still will be a hot take. James is not as good as Michael. When you look at basketball films, Coach Carter to me has got to be up in that conversation.
Yep.
Uh, Husers has got to be in that conversation. Husers
Mhm.
is iconic.
Yeah.
Gene Hackman is my favorite. That is by far my one of my.
Dennis Hopper not wanting to be there at all. He's just a miserable drunk.
I love that movie. Still do to this day. When it's on TV, I watch it. It's a great film to watch. Um, but to be totally honest, I'm not really like Glory Road's another good one I like. With Josh Lucas. And
Mhm.
but other than that, basketball is just not my thing. I don't know why to explain it because it's another back and forth sport to me. It's a sport I love to play, but it's not a sport that I enjoy watching movies about
Yeah.
because they take it. I think it's like they take it too seriously. If that makes sense. Like when you look at Space Jam, okay, yeah, they take it serious, but it's fun.
Yes.
Coach Carter. I love that it's the coach really pushing them to be better people and
Hmm.
not so much a team.
Well, what I like about that movie too is it takes place in the Bay Area, not too far from
Richmond.
where we used to live. So
It's just a great film, and it's one of my favorite Samuel Jackson films, still to this day. But Husers is up there. That's what I said. But when you really, I know you'd probably choose. There's one I know has not been brought up yet, and I know you want to talk about when it comes to basketball.
it's
White men can't jump.
yeah, man. I love White Man Can't Jump. I think it's iconic. With I love the duo of Woody Harrelson and Wesley Snipes. I think
That's the only time I can deal with Wesley
they
Snipes.
mesh with each other very well. Rosie Perez is, in
I
it
love.
too. Man, she is so cute. She is
Oh,
so
you
cute.
might like Renee Montoya, is what you're saying, because that's who she plays in the DC movies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I like her as Renee Montoya.
I also forget that she's in Pineapple Express.
Yeah. There's another good movie that we haven't talked about yet that I know is also one of your favorites, and you've talked about a lot with me in the past. Semi Pro.
Take off your shoes and suck me sexy. Um,
Where we get the origins of the alley oop bands.
yeah, dude, Coffee Black, Sugar Dunkington,
Love them.
Downtown Funky
Jackie
Stuff and
Moon.
Below.
Come on now. Jackie Moon himself.
He's like, Milwaukee really needed a washing machine, so I really had to pull the trigger on this one.
I love I love the bear scene.
Oh, dude. I love the scene of oh, let's see. Let's I forget the dude's name, but he's like, he's homegrown. I think there's something else that's a little homegrown. uh, but the guy makes the half court shot, and
It's what's
he's
his
supposed to
face.
make $10,000. He's like, shit. He's like, I
Then he
don't even
runs
have
out of the state.
$10,000. He's like, it's okay. The beer company will pay for it. He's like, I thought it'd be cool because it sounds like they're a good sponsor. He's like, they're not really a sponsor. Um, no, man, Semi Pro is so perfect. Like, it's such a good, like, early 2000s comedic.
It's one of my favorite Will Ferrell movies. Like
Oh, yeah.
it
It's so
it
slept on, too,
like,
bro. Like,
if I had to put in a top 5 Will Ferrell film, it'd be like 4 or 5 on my list. It wouldn't be the top tiers.
oh, it ain't gonna be Anchorman. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, it ain't Anchorman, it ain't Elf, it ain't any of that. But I won't even put I put that over Step Brothers. It's
Stranger Than Fiction.
even Talladega Nights. Let's
Yeah.
talk about that. Let's turn to do racing a little bit because you
Oh, man.
do like racing.
I love racing movies.
The top
I Talladega Nights being one of them. That's
Tom Cruise, Tom Cruise.
if you ain't first, you're last. The fact that that movie is one of Christopher Nolan's favorite movies
Should speak volumes, right?
speaks fucking volumes, dude. That
Jacked up on Mountain Dew.
he's like, Applebee's has rats. I found a rat in my Cobb salad. Dude, Gary Cole is so fucking good in that movie, dude.
That's one of my favorite movies. Him. That's my favorite movie with the duo of John C. Riley and Will Ferrell.
Yes.
You know me, I love those two as actors, but when they're combined, they can either have hit or misses to me.
Hmm.
And Talladega Night was by far the hit. And I know people say, well, what about Step Brothers? Just not a big Step Brothers guy. I didn't like their acting in that film. You know, and I'm a comedy guy, but there's parts I just go, yeah, that was a little too far. You know,
Yeah.
but John C. Riley and him are they can be iconic if done correct.
Hmm.
And what's his face too? Borak's in that film too.
Yeah.
I love
I
him.
am from Florida.
Ricky Booby.
Really? Was the jazz music not that pleasant for you?
Yeah,
Um,
I love him.
I think another one too, moving on from that, is a great 90s movie. It's Top Gun on Wheels. It's
Days of Thunder.
Days of Thunder, man. Um, which ironically, John C. Riley is also in that movie.
Yeah, what was it? Him? What's his face? Rooker's in this a
Michael
little bit.
Rooker, yeah. Robert, I like Robert Duvall in this movie.
That's probably one of my favorite Robert Duvall movies. I do like his role in that movie.
Randy Quaid.
I forget too. He's in that one.
Randy Quaid's in it.
I'm sorry. No Randy Quaid movie is gonna ever outdo National Lampoon Christmas Vacation and Independence Day.
And Kingpin.
Oh yeah, Kingpin. I forget too about it.
Don't forget Kingpin, baby.
I'd
That's
put those three up there, but to me, it's never as iconic. Hey boys, I'm back. You know, that's like the perfect Randy Quaid moment ever in movies. And that's an Independence Day. I just love him in that movie. But that the there is two people in that movie I cannot stand as actors.
uh-huh.
Two main people of that movie, and that is Tom Cruise and that is Nicole Kidman. This is
Yeah,
where the relationship started, huh? Because they were
I
together.
believe so, yeah. You don't like Nicole Kidman's role in this movie?
I don't like her early acting, if that makes sense.
Got it.
Like I
I
would
see.
say up to about Moulin Rouge, I did not like any of her acting. Anything after Moulin Rouge that she's in, I think that's where she became more of a serious actress, where she actually could do better roles. Like Moulin Rouge was kind of like another odd one for me with her because like, seriously, this is what we get. This is kind of
Yeah.
awkward for her. But when you get that, then after that, she actually plays in some good movies. It's not that I don't like her. I just think it depends on the role and it depends on her age. When she's younger, the roles for her were kind of stupid. When she's gotten older, the roles have gotten better.
Mhm.
So Tom Cruise, though, I won't watch a lot of Tom Cruise movies. Sorry,
Couple more racing movies I just want to bring up.
of course.
I really like uh is Rush
Yeah, Rush is a good one.
with Chris Hemsworth and Daniel Bruhl.
Yeah,
Um,
Cars.
Ford versus Ferrari.
That is a very underrated film. I
So underrated, dude.
Matt Damon,
The
Christian
the
Bale.
the yeah, I was gonna say the combination of Matt Damon and Christian Bale. I love that scene when they invite Mr. Ford to come out and actually take a look at the car, and the other guy who is clearly not a big fan. He doesn't want Carol Shelby to be involved with this, or he doesn't. He does. They want their own driver. I think it is. They don't want Ken
Wasn't
Miles,
it
who
played
is
by
playing.
Josh Lucas?
Yes, he does a lot of voiceovers, I believe. Like he does a
Well,
lot of
Josh
voice
Lucas was
acting.
in Glory Road. He was in Stealth. He was in a lot of movies in the early 2000s.
Got it.
And
He
then
does a lot of but he does like car commercials too. I've heard his voice on car commercials. Um, but yeah, and then the fact that Carol Shelby takes, Mr. Ford, I think it's Henry Ford's grandson, I believe, technically at this point, because this movie takes place in the 60s. Um, he takes him for the spin in that new car that they just built, and he brings tears to his eyes. You
that,
know,
can
I
we
think that's a good scene, man.
I kind of want to go back to Days of Thunder because that's one of my favorite scenes
Yeah.
is when they get into the accident and the owner of the racing, or what was it, NASCAR or whatever they were in, um, said, "You guys need to drive in a car together." And then they go to a rental car place and they go, "Oh, you think what I'm thinking? Let's get it all out there now." And then that's what sparks their friendship because they pretty much got it all out on the road. And I love
Yeah,
how they go on the beach and race each other and everything. That, and then they come to the restaurant all banged up.
that's right. That's right.
It makes me laugh every time I see that scene. And they're like, "So, or you guys get your differences out?" "Yeah." And then they go outside and the cars are wrecked. Um, but that's why I said there hockey is another one that we haven't even really talked about.
I was gonna bring hockey up eventually. Yes.
Slapshot. Slapshot's amazing.
Slap shot with Paul Newman, man. Yeah, that's a good one.
Um,
Uh, I like I like the Goon, man. I just recently watched that with Mrs. Patty B recently. It was her first time watching it, and she actually really enjoyed the movie.
it
Which,
is a good movie. I think it's actually probably the most
yeah,
accurate shot hockey film. I
uh-huh.
love how he sits there and they're like, "I want you to go wait. What? I want you to go wait by the penalty box." And then they grab each other, and it's like he goes, "Well, what do you want me to do?" "Hit him! Oh, bam!" Like, please.
Such an underrated Sean William Scott role, and he plays kind of like a I don't know, like an airhead. Like he's kind of
I don't look at him more as an airhead. I feel like he's more like self-conscious. Like
yeah
he's kind of to himself. He's not really known to stir up crap. If you
compared to Stifler.
Yeah. Like he's
Mm,
always looking kind of like for his parents' approval. He's always looking for things
yes,
like that.
yes, yes.
He's not
Very, very quiet, very poised.
It's really different for him. And I
Yeah.
it's actually really well done.
I mean, like I said, comparing it to American Pie, the American Pie franchise, or even like The Rundown,
It
um,
but
yeah, I like the Goon. One
Mir-
thing, one movie. Go ahead.
Miracle's another great hockey film.
Miracle's fantastic,
About the
dude.
1980 Miracle team on at the 1980s
And
Olympics.
that goes back to our, what we were talking about as far as biographical sports movies. That is, I think, one of the best biographical sports movies there is.
By far one of my favorite Kurt Russell films of all time.
Oh yeah,
Still to
yeah.
this day.
Hmm.
And the sad thing is most of those actors really aren't big name actors that he was around,
Hmm.
but he made them like you could see how the team formed through the coach, through it's just really iconic to see that. And it's based off one of the most iconic moments in Olympic history, where the Team USA that has a whole bunch of college kids beat Team Russia in the 1980s Olympics.
Hmm.
Great moment, and
Huge upset.
yeah. Um, but what were you saying, Pat? I didn't mean to cut you off there.
I was just gonna say, a lot of people don't think of it as a hockey movie, I guess, or even a sports movie in general. And I'm gonna throw you for a loop on this one. The Love Guru.
I won't put that up there. No, that is
You
not
don't put that as a
that is
hockey
not a
movie?
hockey film. That's like saying She's Out of My League as a hockey film.
Oh, come on.
I do not look at the Love Guru as a
Oh,
hockey
whatever. There's hockey
bro.
scenes.
Bro, that's like saying you know what movie I'm talking about. The league. She's out of your league. That's the dude from the Goon. Um, and he gets the attention of a very attractive woman,
Uh-huh.
and it has like T.J. Miller as his friend and stuff. And they go to a hockey game and they play hockey too. At points, the brothers are called Slapshot, pretty much, or
Okay.
or Slapshot Brigetta, or something like it. It's one of those movies I'm like that. If you count Love Guru as that, I don't. I would count that, but I don't look at Love Guru. Love Guru is a terrible movie.
Oh, it's awful. I never said it was
It
good, Brandon.
was terrible. It wasn't even awful. It was terrible. Like complete. It's what sank
Yeah.
Myers' career. I will still put that to this day.
Well,
That
I
movie.
think that movie is a perfect example of how good Justin Timberlake is as an actor, and I say that with as much sarcasm as I can. Uh,
Justin Timberlake can be a good actor. It just depends on the role.
Ah, come on.
And let me rephrase that. I think
Stop
he's
it.
a better voice actor than he is.
You sound like you grew up an
What
NSYNC
do you
fan.
give me?
Yeah, I feel like
I
you're
am
getting
an
old.
NSYNC fan, buddy.
Oh
You
my
know,
god.
I'm a
Bye bye.
bye 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 bye. Dirty Pop.
Oh my god, stop it. What are we doing here? Come on now. This is just
You brought up Justin Timberlake.
shut
I'm the
up. Shut up. I did not.
but
How dare you?
can I rephrase my statement that I think he's a better voice actor than he is a
Yeah. I agree.
because he is a good voice actor. I think he's really great at what he does there. And I think it gives him like when you look at the troll movies, he's great at those.
Yeah.
I he's that's where you can show his musical talents. Another one in football I'm shocked we didn't bring up quick before we end this up was Varsity Blues.
Yes. Varsity Blues with James Vanderbeek, right? Yeah.
Yeah, James Vanderbeek, Paul Walker, um,
Walk.
Amy Clark, John Voight.
Yup.
John Voight is the coach. It's not the best movie, but it teaches you kind of like the harsh realities of football. And Friday Night Lights is another great football film too. With the
Yeah. Did you ever watch Unnecessary Roughness?
no, I've always been on my radar to watch, but I've never watched it.
Or it's Necessary Roughness, sorry.
Um,
It was
yeah,
one of
that has Nick Nolte and the dude from Back to the Minors, Major League.
them.
I thought that had Nick Nolte in.
No, you're probably thinking of Scott Bakula. Um, Evander Holyfield's in it. Sinbad. That's right. Sinbad's in this.
But that's what I said. There's so many great. Now, let me ask you this before we end this podcast out.
Yeah.
What is a sport that you feel has some of the worst movies?
Mm, I wouldn't say worse, but I don't think it has a great selection. I would probably go with hockey.
You would go hockey.
I would go with hockey because, like I said, there's just not a big selection. Like that's not a genre that people think of. Slapshot, I think, is probably the more
Miracle.
Yeah, sorry. I keep thinking, yeah,
Goons.
Miracle and Slapshot for sure.
The Goons
Like
are
I
up
said,
there.
and the Goon, yeah. I mean that's all you really have. And like we talked about to start this podcast, I really do think baseball has the more iconic films. I really do.
Yeah, it's I would say, and I've said it already. I would say if I had to choose any of them, I probably would go basketball, just because I feel like sometimes basketball can be a little misconstrued,
Mhm.
and I feel like sometimes when you really look at the win loss ratio, I guess is a good way to put it for putting it in sports terms. I think there's more wins, like you said, in baseball and football and in other sports than foot or in than in basketball. I do feel like okay, you have white men can't jump, yes, semi-pro, you have Coach Carter and all that, but there are that many bad movies along with it. I you look at movies like Space Jam 2. You have
Yeah.
what's the one with the Marlon brother in it? I can't remember that one where his brother dies on the court and then he becomes a ghost.
We're
Yeah,
talking about
The
basketball
Sixth Man, I think it's called.
with the Wayne's brothers.
Yeah, it has one of the Wayne's brothers.
For some reason, I was thinking about Celtic Pride, but that's not it.
That's another one that's it's okay.
That's I watched that a few months back, and it's definitely not great.
No, it has not aged well.
I don't like Daniel Stern in it. He's so bad.
Um,
Daniel Stern and Dan Aykroyd.
yeah, like you can look at it this way too, like Airbud movies. I know people are going to hate on me for that. Eddie's another bad one. I just feel like when you really look at the wins to the loss columns of it, I just feel like basketball kind of has more losses
Yes, sir.
than any other one. Hockey, even though there's not a good selection, most of the movies are either cult classics. Like even Mystery Alaska is another great hockey film with
Yeah,
Russell.
Mystery Alaska.
I,
Yeah, I think I would say the Goon would be under that too.
yeah, like all those would like they even though they don't have a good selection, they have a better winning record than they have a losing.
I agree. I
So,
agree.
but
Yeah, I
but
think
basketball and football, I would probably say are my two, but basketball more say than football. Football is just because it's there and I'll watch it, but it's not my sport to watch.
yeah.
Baseball's always
Forgot to mention with football the game plan with The Rock.
yeah. Yeah. I know I chose them for my draft for quarterback,
Uh,
but still.
Spoiler alert. No.
But
Um,
but yeah, fans, let us know what your favorite sport movie is. Let us know what you feel what sport really truly has the best films and what sport that has some of the worst films. Let us know in those comments. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Just for Flicks or J4F Podcast. Um, and also check us out on Spotify.
Thank you guys for joining us on this one. This was a fun little discussion. We don't really get to do these too often, and I'm definitely looking forward to doing more in the future. But as always, remember, we do it just for flicks. Good night, everyone.